Tonight, our special transmission as Israel faces growing internal pressure to secure a hostage deal with Hamas. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Elia Batul. Today is the 313th day since Israel started its aggression against Palestinians in response to October 7th attacks. Palestinian Health Ministry reports in the past 24 hours, Israeli forces have killed 33 Palestinians. 67 have been injured. An Israeli airstrike targeted civilians standing at a bread stand near a United Nations agency school in Jabalia camp. The attack has killed 8 Palestinians. Airstrikes and military fires have caused significant destruction in Khan Yunis, Rafah, and the Burej refugee camps. Multiple casualties have been reported in these areas. Israeli forces have raided Tulkaram in the occupied West Bank, killing 2 boys. The boys were aged 14 and 17. The father of one of the victims has been injured. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is resisting calls for a ceasefire despite growing domestic protests. The armed wing of Hamas says Netanyahu is more focused on Israeli raids in Gaza instead of a deal. At least 40,819 civilians have been killed since October 7th. 94,291 have been injured. A report in the British medical journal The Lancet estimates that Israeli actions may have killed at least 186,000 Palestinians since the onset of war. Israel faces accusations of genocide at the International Court of Justice. The court has ordered Israel to immediately halt its military operations in the southern city of Rafah. President Joe Biden has accused Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of not doing enough to secure a ceasefire deal in Gaza. Biden made the comments while speaking outside the White House. Biden says the U.S. is close to presenting a final proposal for the release of Israeli prisoners held in Gaza. He says he is skeptical about Netanyahu's commitment to a ceasefire. The comments are a rare criticism of Israel by the U.S. It contrasts the usual stance of support for Israel. A pro-Israel legal group has threatened to charge ICC prosecutor Karim Khan with professional misconduct. UK Lawyers for Israel claims Khan's pursuit of arrest warrants against Israeli officials is based on false information. The group disputes the allegations against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. The group argues Khan must review his application. It warns that failure to do so could lead to disciplinary action by the Bar Standards Board. The organization says as a British lawyer, Khan is subject to the discipline of the Bar Standards Board. Abu Ubaidah, spokesperson for the Hamas's Al-Qassam brigades, says new protocols have been issued for handling prisoners in Gaza. The new instructions aim to manage prisoners' situations more effectively if Israeli forces intervene. The news comes after Israel has recently recovered 6 prisoner bodies from a tunnel in Rafah. Israel attributes the deaths to Hamas. Ubaidah, on the other hand, blames Israel for the fatalities. He is criticizing Netanyahu for opting for military assaults over negotiations. The Israeli government continues to face internal pressure to secure a prisoner deal and a ceasefire. Israel's largest trade union, Histadrut, came to a standstill yesterday as the workers called a one-day strike. The strike was to protest the government's failure to secure a deal with Hamas. The strike halted services at the airports, schools, and hospitals. Major disruptions occurred at Ben Gurion International Airport. Opposition leader Yair Lapid and the Prisoners and Missing Families Forum backed the strike. The strike comes after the discovery of the bodies of 6 Israeli prisoners in Gaza. Public anger has soared and Israelis have renewed their calls for action. Despite this, National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir vows to block any ceasefire deal. A 58-year-old Palestinian has died an hour after being arrested by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank. The Palestine Red Crescent Society reports receiving the body of Ayman Rajeh. Military officials say Rajeh's death occurred due to a cardiac arrest upon arrival at the detention facility. They say he was given initial treatment before being transferred to a local hospital. However, the Palestine Red Crescent Society reports Rajeh's body bears signs of severe beatings. Rajeh's death comes as Israel is conducting a major operation in Jenin. The operation involves extensive raids and destruction. It has entered its 6th day today. During the operation, 29 Palestinians have been killed and 120 have been wounded. A Palestinian grandmother has fled her home after she was threatened at gunpoint by an Israeli settler in the West Bank. Aisha Shatay was living in her home of 50 years. Shatay was threatened by settler Moshe Sharvit, who ordered her to leave her home. The incident is one of many, where Palestinians have been forced to flee their ancestral homes. Illegal settler outposts in the West Bank continue to grow. There are 196 outposts in the area. 29 of them were established last year. These outposts often lack formal boundaries and legality. They have been linked to escalating violence and harassment against Palestinians. An analysis by the BBC reveals most of these outposts have been funded by settler groups. These groups have close ties with the government. The United Nations has called for a halt to settlement activities. There also has been severe international condemnation. Despite this, the government has made no effort to stop them. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and Egyptian President Fattah al-Sisi have united to address the escalating crisis in Palestine. Media reports say the discussions focused on Israel's alleged war crimes and the grave humanitarian situation in Gaza. Bin Salman and Erdogan say there is an urgent need for a unified Arab and Islamic front to counter the severe Israeli attacks on Palestinian territories. The leaders are calling for intensified international pressure on Israel to cease its actions. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News Canada. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories that you can trust. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. You can also comment on and let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, please keep watching Muslim Network TV.